Very good evening, all of you. We are discussing about Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 in previous 4 5 classes. We completely discussed and understood this act, why this is very much important in India to regulate the pharmaceutical practices. We studied various classifications under various schedules, and also we studied this act is how much important to regulate importing of medicines in India, manufacturing of medicines in all various way in India, and also sale of medicines in India. This act, for last class, we discussed about various classification under which how the sale of pharmaceuticals and cosmetics are regulated. And in continuation of that discussion, one class in which the licenses are granted to the pharmacist to continue pharmaceutical sale is licenses for chemist and druggist shop and pharmacy. Chemist and druggist shop and pharmacy. The difference between other drug store and chemist and druggist shop is chemist, that is pharmacist, will present in this shop. They involve in verification of prescriptions. Accordingly, they prescribe medicines. They dispense medicines. Pharmacy, in which the pharmacist will present, they will prepare medicines according to the prescriptions and supply. So that is the difference. So here, how the licenses will be given. The license granted subject to the following condition. One is the licensee must have adequate premises, facilities for proper storage of drugs, and under the supervision of competent person for sale and distribution of drugs. So the license will be given on the basis of the pharmacist who is working there in full time. On that basis only this license will be given. So that person's supervision only, medicine should be stored and with the proper facilities as per the storage conditions. And that person only should prescribe medicines, dispense medicine based on the prescriptions. That is only called distribution. Must fulfill the requirements as per Schedule N. Schedule N is about equipments which are maintained in the pharmacy, the basic equipments necessary, a stethoscope, a sphygmomanometer, a balance, a refrigerator, like that equipments specified under Schedule N that should be kept in the in the pharmacy for the use of pharmacist person in the shop. Must obtain the permission to sell additional category of drugs. That means we have to take various other licenses which are required for C1 category, Schedule H category, X category. Like that, we have to obtain special licenses if you want to store many other drugs. Licensee must maintain records of drugs. What are all the drugs purchased from whom? What are the batch numbers? And how many are distributed and how many are balanced with them. So these information should be always daily, should be updated in the record. Licensee must allow an inspector to inspect the premises, check the records. The inspectors will visit then and there. They will verify the records, also verify the stock. They may collect samples, send it for analysis purpose. And, that all will be done by regular duty of drug inspectors. For that, we have to permit. The licensee should permit. They should not obstruct that this is a business time or this is not the right time to visit. We cannot say any time we have to permit. Licensee must inform to the licensing authority about any changes in qualified staff. Pharmacists should be there. If pharmacists are relieved from that, who is appointed in his or her place to supervise the shop, that should be immediately informed. So on their presence only, these activities of the drugs and chemist and druggist shop and pharmacy activities should go on. The regular prescription dispensing should be conducted. So who is present pharmacist right now? That information to be sent to the licensing authority immediately. Precaution must be taken during storage of Schedule C, C1 drugs because they are biological preparations that should be stored in a proper storage conditions. That is very, very important. So that should be maintained by pharmacists. These are the conditions on which the licenses are issued. Schedule X and Schedule X drugs are permitted for sale. Then what are the conditions? And Schedule H drugs and X drugs. The Schedule H are prescription drugs. Only with the prescription we have to supply this. Otherwise, we should not give to anyone. Schedule X are controlled drugs. That prescriptions should be preserved in our custody, to whom it is supplied for 2 years. That prescription should not be renewed without getting a new prescription. We have to check the age of the person who is collecting this medicine. Also, we have to check the date in which it was written also, and the quantity prescribed also. This is because these are called controlled drugs. So like that, special rules and regulations are there. Okay, how we have to give a license to sale of these such medicines means on supervision of a pharmacist, a qualified person only, it should be done. Drugs specified in Schedule H and X should be sold only on prescription of a registered medical practitioner. In case of Schedule X drugs, the prescription should be in duplicate and should be retained for 2 years. That means we have to make a copy, we have to file with us, and we have to preserve this for 2 years. If at all required by the regulatory authorities or the licensing authority or any drug inspector, we have to provide all the details: who purchased, on which date, how much quantity, everything should be submitted. The cash or credit bill should bear a signature of customer with his or her address with which the medicine is supplied. That indicates it is supplied to a genuine person. Simply, we not return any bills or anything for supply of narcotic materials. Separate bound and paged register. Bound and paged register. We have to note this. It's a legal statement. Should be maintained for supply, in which the separate sheets should be allowed for each drug. We have to use a bound register, in which each page is for one drug. Like that, we have to maintain pages, and in which we have to write how much quantity is supplied on which date, on supplied by on which prescription number, everything we have to write, described by the details. Why the bound register means we should not do any alterations. We should not remove any pages in between, or we should not add any pages in between. So for that reason only, this bound register we have to maintain for this purpose, because these are controlled drugs. The following particulars should be entered at the time of supply. On date of supply, when we did this. Opening and closing stock of the drug. When we are opening that container, how many was there? Now, right now after supply, how many balance are there? Issue and balance. Should tie relevant bill and number to whom it is supplied. And the name of the drug, its manufacturer's name and batch number, that details. Name and address of the purchaser, whom it is supplied. In any case, any inquiry, they will also be called and inquired. Date of prescription and name and address of registered medical practitioner who has written this, so that details. Signature of registered pharmacist, under whose supervision supply is made. It is very important to note. In the pharmacy, a pharmacist will be there, and on their name only their license will be issued. So on the whose presence the medicine is prescribed. It is dispensed. Supply of drugs to a medical practitioner and other institutions should be preserved for at least 3 years from the date of supply. Related documents should be preserved for minimum 3 years. General license. General license is granted to a person who have premises for business and who have engaged the service of qualified person to supervise the sale of drugs and do the compounding and dispensing. So a general pharmacy for which the license will be given on the basis of the pharmacist who is working there and the facilities which is present there. The restricted license means restricted license is granted to those dealers who do not engage the service of qualified person. That means just they will store the large containers Only that containers, that medicines, the packed medicines will be stored for time being. It will not be issued to any patient in singles units. It will be sent only to the retailers. That is called, that drugstores are called, drugstores are using this restricted license. So there, the requirement of pharmacist is not there. So classes of drugs prohibited for wholesale. Which are the drugs we should not supposed to sell? Misbranded, spurious, adulterated, patent or proprietary medicines, claims to cure or prevent any disease under the section Schedule J, any drug manufactured or imported in contravention to the act, not following the guidelines. Drugs whose date of expiry is past, that is, expiry has if the product is expired. Drugs intended for supply to central government supply. It is only for government. It is only for army, military purposes. Only for government hospitals. Physician samples, drugs not intended for sale. So that for that licenses will not be issued. Offences and penalty for the sale of drug. If anyone not follows the guidelines prescribed during licensing, then that will be considered as offense. For that, penalties are there: imprisonment and fine. Sale, stocking, exhibiting, or offer for sale of drugs likely to cause death or grievous hurt, as per section 320. If anybody is selling such poisonous materials, leads to severe health problems, then it is an offense, serious offense under section 320. It will be for booked, and for that 5 years rigorous imprisonment with not less than 10,000 rupees fine will be there for sale of such materials. 1 to 3 years imprisonment for adulterated medicines. If somebody involved in sale, 1 to 3 years imprisonment and not less than 5,000 fine or for first conviction, and 2 to 6 years double imprisonment and not less than 10,000 fine will be there for further uh, convictions. Sale, stocking, exhibition or of spurious drugs. If somebody is practicing sale of such spurious drugs, 3 to 5 years imprisonment, not less than 5,000 rupees fine, and subsequent convictions double that will be given. Sale of drugs in convention of any other provision. If they are not following, they are not following guidelines, they are violating the provisions given under Drugs and Cosmetic Act. That leads to 1 to 2 years imprisonment, fine on first conviction, 2 to 4 years, that is double, on subsequent convictions. Failure to keep records or disclosed required information. They are not during inspection. If it is found that they are not maintaining records properly, then 1 year imprisonment, fine of 1,000. False warranty to purchaser. That is, they are maintaining fake bills or fake details about the purchaser. Then it leads to imprisonment of 1 year, fine of 5,000, and double it will be for the subsequent convictions. And use of government analyst report and the CDL report for advertising. We are certified by this so organization, like that. If they are using this for advertisement purposes, for NAC C1 category or X category, H category drug, then it leads to fine of 500 on first conviction, and it will be up to 10 years or fine or both on subsequent convictions. These are the punishments. Okay. Next section of this act deals about labeling procedures and packing. All the general and specific labeling and packing specified to all the classes of drugs and cosmetics should be as per the provisions under the act. We know very well, paracetamol means 10 pack, in blister pack it will be supplied. On syrup, if you take, there will be 100 ml bottle. Diclofenac injection, 5 ml, 3 ml injections will come. Like that, we have pack size, and these tablets, this many only in one packet, and this many will be in one blister packing. Like that, we are following standard packing. Whoever who may be the manufacturer, they will follow the same packing size. This all decided by whom? not by the manufacturer. It is decided by Drugs and Cosmetic Act. In the act it is given. It should be labeled like this only. It should be packed like this only, like that. Legal requirements for labeling of drugs are as follows. First, name of the drug, official name, trade name should be present. Name of the manufacturer, his or her address, along with license number, batch number, that should be compulsorily there in the label. We should not say that there is no space. So one ampule, very small label will be there. Or we don't have space like that. We should not tell. For that also, this font size, the label size, everything standardized. Potency, standard, grade, dose, etc. expressed as ml, grains, units, that should be written on the label. Net contents by volume, weight, number, that should be written. Manufacturing and expiry date, schedule P and C drugs, that should be written. Precautions for handling, storage, sale or usage, etc. Like important instructions, that should be written. Special instructions may be there, such as for veterinary use, precision sample only, like that information that should be written. Special labeling for drugs for external use, drugs for export, dispensed drug, for rectal use only, like that. Many instructions that will be written. This is one sample label taken for understanding. Pyracetam tablets. See the size of the font. This is the generic name of the medicine which is presented. This will be bigger than the brand name. This is brand name given registered by the manufacturer, brand manufacturer. Vipacetam 800 is the brand owner's registered trade name. This is the generic name, medicines name, and this is the dosage form. This is the pack size. 10 tablets are packed in one strip. Like that, 10 strips are packed in one box. 10 into 1 into 10 tablets. This is RX, the symbol that should be compulsorily written on the labels of Schedule X drugs. Schedule H drugs, I'm sorry. This is Schedule H drug. Schedule X means it will be XRX. This is Schedule H drug. That indicates it is a prescription drug. We should not dispense this without a prescription. And also one more sign for Schedule H drug is this red color band in the left side. That indicates this should be dispensed only by prescription. And also we have to note this section, this red color portion. Schedule H prescription drug caution, not to be sold by retail without the prescription of a registered medical practitioner. It is written on this, and in bold letters in the red color box it should be written. Along with this, the composition, which standard we are following: IP standard, USP standard, BP standard. So if you test according to the Indian pharmacopoeial standard, this will pass the test. That is the indication. Pyracetam IP 800 milligram is the label claim. Excipients are used in this. This quantity is sufficient. Like that information. Storage conditions, dosage, manufacturer's address, their brand names, everything, the trademarks, everything will be there. This is a label. Like that, for Schedule G drugs, caution should be written compulsorily. It is dangerous to take this preparation except under the medical supervision. Schedule G is for a list of medicines to be prescribed only and under the medical supervision only. That is a list of medicines. So that should be written on the label very clearly. Caution. For Schedule H drugs, warning should be written to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner only. Symbol RX should be written. If suppose in the Schedule H drug it is a narcotic drug, then symbol NRX should be written. NRX prominently on the left hand top corner of the for narcotic and psychotropic substances. This is RX only. This again RX. I've taken one example. Here also this red color line you can notice. Here this is the RX symbol. It is in red color. The small box in this red color it is written Schedule H. Zoomed and shown here. Schedule H drug warning. Schedule X drugs. Schedule X drugs warning should be written on the label to be sold on prescription of RMP, registered medical practitioner only. Symbol RX is red and left hand top corner. XRX should be written. For example, XRX drug here. XRX like that it will be there. Oseltamivir is an XRX drug. It is a here you see this label XRX written. This is a controlled drug that should be written by a registered medical practitioner. Based on that only we have to supply. That prescription we have to maintain with us minimum 3 years. Ophthalmic solution suspensions ointments use within 1 month after opening the container for ophthalmic use only, not for injection. Name and concentration of preservatives if used. Special instructions regarding storage wherever applicable. Warning: if irritation persists or increases, discontinue the use. Consult the physician. Do not touch the dropper tip or other dispensing tip to any surface, since this may contaminate the solution because they are sterile solutions. Okay, this is RX. This is Schedule H drug. This is XRX. This is a control drug, Schedule X drug. This is NRX. This is a narcotic and psychotropic substances. These three examples I have taken, models I have shown here. How the labeling will be. In all these three, this red line you can notice. Left and red band will be there in all these three. This is Schedule H drug. This is Schedule X drug. This is also Schedule H drug. Sometimes it will be written controlled drug here like this. It will be written. Okay. Veterinary drugs. See, this also looks like human preparations only. So how to differentiate it? Not for human use, you should write on there. Not for human use. And for animal treatment only, that should be written. And head of any domestic animal. That means in the picture. For example, cock picture, cow picture, and this cow picture, like that, dog picture, that will be there in the label. It indicates it's not for human use. Packing of drugs specified in Schedule X. The drugs specified in Schedule X can be marketed in packing not exceeding 100 unit doses in case of tablet and capsule. We should not pack more than that. 300 ml in case of liquid preparations, we should not pack more than that if it is a liquid. 5 ml in case of injection, more than that we should not allow to pack in one packing, because it will be chances of misusing. So we should avoid large packings. This is a sample Schedule H drug, insulin injection. Label RX is written, insulin 80 units. This is a generic name only. There is no brand name. It's for a government supply, like that, means it will be like that. It is a Schedule G drug. It should be administered with the medical supervision only. It is not Schedule H, Schedule G. It is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision only. And then manufacturing data, expiry data, manufacturer's address, quantity, and dosage form, unit strength, everything. Labeling of cosmetics. On both inner and outer labels, it should indicate the name of the cosmetic, name and address of the manufacturer. On the outer label, it should indicate the net content of the package, what it contains. Such a statement need not appear on the label if the net content does not exceed 60 ml or 30 grams. No, need not appear on the label. On the inner label, it should indicate the proper direction of use, warning, caution, special direction, the names and contents of ingredients that are poisonous or hazardous. The label in addition should indicate batch number only if the content of cosmetic is more than 10 gram or 25 ml. In case of soap, instead of batch number, the month and the year of manufacture of soap shall be written on the label. If the packages or the container of the cosmetic has only one label, it should contain all the information required to be shown on both inner and outer label. Both should be all to be written on the only one label. Labeling of hair dyes. Hair dyes containing coal tar colors should label inner and outer. There should be a caution notice should be there if coal tar dye is present. This product contains ingredients which may cause skin irritation in certain cases, and a preliminary test according to direction should first be made. The product should not be used for dyeing eyelashes or eyebrows. As such, as use may cause blindness. That is very important notice that should be there on the hair dyes. Toothpaste containing fluorides. Fluoride content in toothpaste shall not be more than 1000 ppm. The content of fluoride in terms of ppm shall be mentioned on tube and carton, and date of expiry should be mentioned on tube and carton if it contains fluoride. It is a medicated toothpaste. So this act, there are many changes also made in the year 2008. Punishments were little strengthened, severities were increased. For example, life imprisonment for offenders involved in manufacture, sale, and distribution of spurious and adulterated drugs like to cause grievous hurt. This is the important addendum made in this act. Life imprisonment. That the supreme punishment was included in this act for spurious drug manufacturers, adulterated drug manufacturers. Minimum punishment of 7 years with which may extend to life punishment, life imprisonment. Provision for compensation to affected person also. If anybody get affected, for them, they have to pay. The government should pay, or the company involved should pay compensation. That was also included in this act. That was addendum amendment 2008 in this. Thanks for joining.